everyone, welcome to Early Grammar Spot. My name is V and today I'm going to show you a new grammar point. This lesson is about the past simple tense. Okay, so first let's get started to take a look at the contents of our lesson today. We are going to find out when to use and how to form a past simple. Okay, so first let's talk about when we should use the simple past tense. Simple past tense statements for today are for actions that started and ended in the past. The second point is these are actions which happen at a specific point in time. It can be yesterday, this morning, last year, last week, 3 years ago, or it can be when you were a child. All of these are specific points in time, but the key that we know when the action happened. So as you can see, now it is in this point and the past is down here. And now I'm going to show the form simple past tense in affirmative, negative, and interrogative. But before we get started with these kinds of forms, you need to pay extra attention to the verbs in the past simple tense. In English, we have regular verbs and irregular verbs. For the regular verbs, we simply use the infinitive form of the verb and add ed. For example, work becomes worked, cook becomes cooked. Now let's take a look at the picture and sentences. As you can see, both these sentences are in the simple past tense. He walked to school yesterday. She cooked dinner. So verb plus ed is the basic form of simple past tense verbs. But you need to pay attention to the verbs with the end in an e, such as leave, close, and change. For example, she changed her dress. With this verb, we use infinitive form, but we always add a d. Let's take a look at another example. He lived here in 2002. Moreover, the verbs ending in y, especially though preceded by a consonant, such as envy, study. Here, the y transitions into an I and add ed in the end. For example, study becomes studied. Envy becomes envied. Now let's take a look at picture and sentences. He envied his friends. She studied a lot. Remember when the verbs end in a consonant plus vowel plus consonant, we just double the last consonant and then we add the ed in the end. For example, stop becomes stopped. The car stopped. That's all about regular verbs. So now we move to irregular verbs. How to change them in past tense? Then the rule for this, you simply have to practice if you want to remember them to change these verbs into the past tense correctly. So, for example, some common ones are build, which becomes built. They built this building last year. It become ate. She ate noodle this morning. Okay, so we have talked about the regular and irregular verbs. Now let's move to the affirmative. The simple past statement, the structure is subject plus verbs in past form. For example, we saw a good film last week. At this sentence, we is subject and saws a irregular verbs in past form. We saw a good film last week. Another example is yesterday I arrived in Moscow. In this sentence, I is also subject and arrive a regular verb in the past form. Yesterday I arrived in Moscow. Now let's move to the negative. Structure is subject plus did not or didn't plus verb infinitive. Didn't is the contraction of did not. As you can see, we only insert did not or didn't between the subject and the infinitive verb, but you needed to notice that these verbs in this sentence are in the base form, not in the past. For example, she didn't go to Vietnam last year. Another example, he didn't play the piano when he was a child. Okay, now let's move to the interrogative. For the interrogative, the structure is did plus subject plus infinitive verbs. We put did before the subject and the verbs. Of course, they are still in their base form. For example, did they buy a new car? Another example, did she clean a room? Today we talk about the simple past tense and how to conjugate both regular and irregular verbs. This might seem a little bit difficult to understand which verbs are regular and which verbs are irregular, but with some practice it will become easier. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching.